So welcome to part 2 in this series where I'm using Native Instruments Kontakt to do some sound design by taking advantage of the performance capabilities of the Seaboard Rise. So let's get a vocal on the go again. Double clicking here, once again setting up the MIDI to Omni, that's because we're in standalone. So there's a vocal. I'm just going to open this up. Okay, so I want to teach you a couple of basics. Let's take away all of this stuff on Kontakt. I would suggest when you're working with it, clear away the things that you don't need. And I'm going to talk about the source module here. So DFD is streaming the sample from disk. Sampler is the more traditional mode where it's loading it into RAM. The one thing I want to point out is the traditional kind of pitch and time rules with sampling. So when you go up the keyboard, it plays higher in pitch, but it plays faster. You hear that? So when we go down in pitch, it plays the sample slower. Whoa, 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 whoa. So that's your basics of most samplers, but Kontakt allows you to break free of this. We're going to go to Time Machine, and this allows me to take the pitch up, but keeping the speed the same. So let me show that to you. And then coming down. Whoa, 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 whoa. So the one thing that I can do is actually map a MIDI controller to speed. So I'm going to do that now. We're going to right click on this, go to Learn MIDI CC, move this here so we get the full range. Now this is going to be good fun actually. So I'm going to slow it down, and this is on the same note. Okay, you ready? So you've heard this kind of jungle style, granular time stretch kind of vibe. And when I go to the speed of 0%, it's just looping. It's just continuous as long as I hold my fingers down on the key. And we can adjust the grain size. Watch this. So we get this nice kind of choppy, granular texture. So what I'm going to propose is, obviously we've got here the slider mapped, but why don't we map slide, which is this vertical position on the key, forwards and backwards on the Seaboard Rise onto the grain size. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is something a bit different. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to external sources, MIDI CC, and if you've seen part 1, you've seen that I can map MIDI CC 74. And let's have a listen. Let's take that speed back up. Big grain size, small grain size. But for me, the journey, the distance, I want to change the curve on that. It feels like it takes too long for it to go fast when I'm bringing it down on the keyboard. So we can do that here. We can just basically drop this down and go to preset, factory default, and then let's pick this up and let's change the behavior. Let's have a listen. Okay, for me that's feeling better. Maybe just up a little bit. There we go, that's working nicely. So it's not linear, it's got a little bit of a curve to it now. So another thing that I want to do is I want to get the ability to do the gliding left and right. And so we do have pitch bend mapped here at the moment, but I'm going to increase this. So let's go back to normal speed. The capability of doing that from the keyboard. This is the whole thing. It's about performing sound design. This is what I love about the ROLI Seaboard Rise. Obviously, we could map some other kind of MIDI controllers here, but we wouldn't get that hands-on feel to it. Okay, so that's another little short video there, giving you some possibilities with sound design. So we've mapped basically the grain size to the slide. We've also got speed over here on the slider here, and we've increased the pitch bend, so we've got that nice rise up and down the ROLI Seaboard Rise.